Hello and welcome. Well, negotiations on life support, and that's what the issue on the table is today. Now, I just want to find out from this interview if indeed we are playing with fire. Doctors have become a rare commodity, not because we don't have brilliant people in the country, but we just don't have the facility to churn them out in the numbers that we need. We must have about 2,500 doctors to share amongst probably about 27 million people. And as you go up north, the ratio becomes even diabolical, where there's probably one doctor to about 20,000 people. And I always say, imagine he was even just dispensing paracetamol. At what point will he get to patient number 18,000 if he just went in and he just gave you paracetamol and you went out? So they become a rare commodity. You want to find out if, because of this position, are the doctors now holding us for ransom to say, hey, there aren't enough doctors, therefore we're demanding too much? And the state, are we not realizing how rare they are and how important they are? I mean, this is not like if they are tailors and if they sew your trousers and it doesn't fit, you go to the next tailor. I mean, you are literally a life and death away from somebody's wrong prescription. What is happening now? Are we gambling on life support? Now, with me to discuss this right here on PM Express, my name is Nana Ansakwa, is Mr. Ostingame, who's a labor expert. And in times like these, you need somebody with a cool head and experience to mediate. You don't want to muddy the waters at all. And that's why we have him here in the studio. Very busy man. Mr. Game, thanks again for honoring our invitation.
Thank you. I'm most grateful.
I want to find out, before I even get to this doctor's issue, is it a point in our country's evolution that we have gotten to where there's so many strikes and that we will find our footing and get away from here? Is that where we are in sort of a developing nation's evolution, or we are doing something wrong?
Yes, basically I think something is wrong. The truth be told is normally bitter. But I think that is appropriate at a certain point in time to let go what we think is inappropriate so we can find the right solution for this kind of things. The reality is that we lack the necessary knowledge, the understanding and the skill that is required to manage labor relations and conflict resolution. I think that is the basic problem. Efforts that are being made are efforts with good intentions, but the results are not worth what it should be. So clearly, to be honest with you, if I don't know it, I will not talk about it. I will not even accept to come on this program. I think that we have deliberately, as a people, refused to allow, the right kind of sense to prevail in our country so that we get out from this mess. We have a Labor Act. We have the ADR Act 798. I don't see any earthly reason why we should be pushed into this kind of situation we find ourselves now. As we speak, doctors have threatened that they want to go on strike, or they are on some kind of strike. Pharmacists have threatened that they want to start strike. I'm sure they are supposed to be having some crucial meetings today as well. And other people are threatening as well.
Doctors just cooled off?
So clearly something is wrong. And we must admit it and begin to put it right. And what is wrong, if you ask me, I can tell you in no uncertain terms. So I think that something basically is wrong. And we are not applying the labor law well because we lack the necessary knowledge to be able to put it right. Now, the mainstream unions, even though they also sometimes go overboard, they regardless of anything, they still come and sit around and we talk about it. People are too much in a hurry to put together themselves as a body without learning, without finding out what to do, without even consulting the Labor Act, without going to the institution we have agreed to put together to manage these affairs for us, and then we jump into the conclusions and create problems for both the employers and the unions and all workers. These are the problems that we are having. I'm not visiting out on just one side
no,
of
no,
it.
No, yeah, the whole. I just want to broaden it before I narrow it down to the doctor's issue that we're talking about. How important is the method of communication in times like these?
You see, listening is also a skill, and speaking is also a skill. You cannot just be listening to people. Apparently, you are only hearing, you're not storing it well. And so if you want to speak because of your lack of the appreciation of the environment in which you are talking, the emotional aspect of it overtakes us, overruns us, and we are left with just churning out things that normally should not be churned out. If I want to speak in a very strong terms, I will say it and people will find it difficult to get angry, because what I'm telling you, apart from it being the truth, I will say it in a manner that befits the environment in which the conversation is being held. So I will attempt to do that at all times. I think that our way of speaking to one another is completely jaundiced in certain circumstances, and so therefore it makes us to engage in a way that is not befitting, especially when it comes to labor relations. It's purely relational, and anything relational, you must be mindful of the fact that as soon as you complete the negotiation or you engage in some kind of acrimonious negotiation, when it's all over, you are returning and the two of you will stay under the same roof. And so you must give space to enable you, when you return to work after the acrimonious negotiation or the intervention of an institution or a body, you can still talk to one another and relate and work properly. Otherwise, we are engaged in fight, flight, freeze, fighting each other, banging the door and walking away from each other, or refusing to talk completely. You go back to the same house. You and your husband will still be under the same roof. So those of us who are engaging in talking to the people and engaging in negotiating as leaders, we must be mindful about what we are trying to do.
My last one before we come to the doctors. How important and how much should we hold? Because in negotiations, it means we are all coming. I'm coming to either demand something. I want the most. You want to give me the least. Or, I want to give you the least. You want to. So we just have to find a middle ground. How much should each party hold? Because we tend to see a lot of egos there. Now, if I let go of all my egos, then you're just going to give me pittance. So I need to hold. So where do you find the balance of how much ego do I hold to bring on the negotiation table? Yeah,
it's because, again, because of lack of knowledge, about necessary knowledge about this, and also the understanding about the effect of your actions at the end of the day, and lack of skill. Skill also means wisdom in certain circumstances. And it's not compulsory that everybody, the fingers are not the same. So I don't expect everybody to be the same like me or like you or like somebody. But the truth is that under the new Labor Act, let's call it new for the purpose of the conversation, there is a big paradigm shift from yesterday when we were under Act 299 of 1965. You don't have the kind of Section 97 we have now to prevent what you have just said. It is to forestall that kind of holding information, and you also holding your information. We all come to the table with different sets of information and engage in positional negotiation and argument and baseless things. To prevent that, we have created Section 97, which enjoins both the employer and the worker and the unions to share relevant information. So that once you share this information, you no longer hold different sets of information. You've all agreed to it, that inflation is 2%. The minimum wage is 2 cedis. This is this. This is the statistics collected from no less a place but this and that and that. We all have the same sets of information. The present state of the economy, the present state of the finances, the present state and the materials that needs to be brought to the table. All of us have the same thing. So when you get there, the example I can give you clearly is that if you, Nana, with all due respect to you, you and your wife, you've told your wife that you earn 2,000 cedis a month. Can your wife ask you chop money over and above 2,000?
No.
Are you not going to take care of your children, pay your utilities, and so forth and so on? So share relevant information at the workplace, in the home, wherever you find yourself. There will be no acrimony when you come to negotiation. It is lack of knowledge and understanding about the process as enshrined in Section 97 that is creating the problem.
Why don't doctors have a condition of service?
Before independence and after independence, doctors have not had a written, negotiated condition of service. But doctors have some kind of conditions of service. Okay. Both their appointment letter contains some of them, administrative things contain some of them, and of late, the single spine pay policy also brought some into being. But if the doctors want a condition of service, they are not at fault. They have every reason to demand that they and their employers sit down and negotiate conditions of service. They have the right to do that. Let's say they don't have, and indeed they don't have that kind of written condition of service. The law says either party, either Ghana Medical Association or the employers of Ghana Medical Association can submit proposals. They sit at the table, do all the things that they are supposed to do, including having rules that will govern the process of the negotiation. And that these rules will include, among other things, as enshrined in Section 1, 2, 7, 3, and 4, that during this negotiation, no party, the employer and the workers' leadership, cannot intimidate, threaten, or do anything that will make the negotiation, lose its integrity. They are coming to negotiate. And therefore, if you are holding gun on my head, come and let's negotiate. I'm giving you 29th of July. If you don't negotiate and finish, I'll kill you. I'll kill you means I'm going to go on strike. That is, as you are leading us all to a slaughterhouse. This is unacceptable in any civilized society, regardless of the price tag put on doctors, regardless of the price tag put on the employers. Both sides don't have the right to intimidate with the taxpayers. They don't have that right.
Mr. Kame, you see, are we also taking advantage of doctors in saying that because your job line is sort of life and death, if you don't go to work, somebody may die, whether I don't pay you or not, still turn up at work, because if you don't and somebody dies, then it becomes your fault and not, I was supposed to pay you. I mean, are you also using that against them?
No, if anyone uses that, the person is dishonest.
But then we are, because...
No, it shouldn't be so, Nana. The doctors shouldn't, in fact, this negotiation that is ongoing should not in the first place start. Both sides, the employer should have reported that conduct of the doctors saying that I'm giving you deadline. If you don't complete the negotiation, hell will break loose. They should not have commenced the negotiation. They should have gone to Labour Commission. Labour Commission should have ordered both sides to go and sit down and negotiate based upon the law. And then the negotiation commence.
And not based on the deadline.
Not based upon threat and intimidation. So they should not have started the negotiation in the first place. This country is being taken for a ride. And I thank God I'm not totally part of you people. I'm just here to help you, this nation.
Of course, but you see, I'm just assuming I was a doctor. You see, I just feel that, well, because if I don't turn up at work, lives are lost, and the whole world is about life and death. I mean, that's it. So, well, I didn't pay you, don't give me a deadline, don't threaten me, just turn up at work and then we'll get to the bottom of it.
Well, that would be simplistic. It shouldn't be so, first of all.
Since independence, you say they haven't had a contract.
So today, if they have opportunity and they have agreed to go and negotiate, they should go and negotiate based on civility. I mean, the platform and they created for it.
They've been asking for this for over a year.
I agree. And I agree. I'm saying that the law says that we must go by the law and the best practices. The practice is that you must agree to put together rules that will govern the process of the negotiation.
But is there anywhere in the law that also says, look, you work with this guy, he must have a condition of service and it has to be written? Is there anywhere in the law?
It is enjoined on both employers and unions to negotiate their conditions of service if both sides so wish. Now, and I'm saying that either party can even initiate it. the genesis of the thing is very important. So we don't move to Exodus when we haven't finished with Genesis. The issue is that they should have written down an agreement that this is the process we are going to evolve ourselves in. And should one party feel uncomfortable about it, that's why we have created institution. I don't want to quote Obama. We have created the institution before he came here. They should have gone to the National Labor Commission, and Labor Commission would direct the employer and direct the union, essentially their union. So to go and sit down and negotiate in accordance with the law and best practices. And they will have a smooth way. Now, if they're negotiating and they have a problem, they should go back to the National Labor Commission, who will either arbitrate because they are essential service to enable them to have a solution. There is a solution under this law for them. So I don't see the reason why they are both suffering. Suffering shouldn't be the option.
Is it not because they've tried written letters and the other party hasn't done anything? And I think they find condition of service to be such a basic thing, it shouldn't have even dragged for this long.
No, it's not so. It's the most expensive thing to engage in. Because whichever way it is, if you agree that you're going to pay this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, this law is very comprehensive. It says that once you complete that, then that holds sway upon both sides. So you don't just write anything. Any language there can be costed. So Haruna and whoever is leading the employer side, my friends from the GMA who are leading the sides, they should be very, very careful what they commit with the taxpayers to pay. And that is the reason why you can't just begin negotiation just anyhow. I concede that the doctors need negotiation. They need conditions of service. They have the right to do it. And in so doing, they must do it in accordance with the law, both sides, employers and them. Now, the confusion...
Is there a template to follow?
Yes, there is always a template. There is always a template. And there are people in this country who knows what to do. So I think that what I'm trying to say is that nobody should take the right of the doctors from negotiating. All things being equal, the doctors are not used to this kind of negotiation. I'm sure some of my friend, Mr. Dr. Youngson, who is there, is a lawyer. But if you are a lawyer, it does not mean you are a negotiator. It does not mean you are a facilitator. It does not mean you have knowledge about it. Regardless of it, I work with lawyers. I have a lawyer working with me. And I want to say that it is inappropriate for anybody to just jump into negotiation without first going through the rudiments that you have to go through. And if you are having difficulties, go to the institution we have created. So that institution can instruct. The only person National Labor Commission cannot invite is the president himself. But they can invite the vice president. He can invite the chief justice. He can invite anybody. They have power to do that. And so we must make use of that available institution for us. It was created in 2003. It's not Obama who came to tell us that we must have strong institutions. It was created by ourselves. And so I don't agree with this hula baloo that is going on now in this country. It's unacceptable. I will not necessarily go to maybe some of the hospitals they are. I may not necessarily go there, but we have an auntie somewhere who will go. I have even an enemy who don't like me that will go. Once he is happy, he may not come and disturb me again. So I think that we need everybody to be given the opportunity. The doctors must be given the opportunity to negotiate their conditions of service. But if they have a problem, they know where to go.
Are they asking for too much?
I don't think so. Proposal is a proposal. They might not be negotiating, albeit under the interest-based approach as envisaged under Section 97 of the law. Both them and the employers. I can guarantee you they are not doing the right thing. But I want to say that regardless of anything, they have submitted a proposal. There is a joint document in front of them. They should go gingerly. If you go and you make your proposal, I said, I'm sorry, I cannot afford this, I can do ABC. And you don't agree. The law says, say you have reached a disagreement point, and therefore you push all that agreement, sign a joint paper or individual paper, send it to the National Labor Commission. They have tremendous power to invite both sides. They will hear them, particularly because they are essential service. They will do a summary kind of hearing for them. If they are not reaching agreement, they will go on to compulsory arbitration. Fortunately for us, the chairman of the National Labor Commission is not an appointee of government. The other members of the group there is only two who are directly appointed by government, but by the arrangement of the Labor Act. As soon as you get to the commission, you are sitting there, you are completely washed away from the institutions that brought you there. You are completely independent and you have power backing you. And the gentlemen and the ladies who are in the Labour Commission, they are doing a good job. So go there, they will sit with you, guide you, and if it becomes necessary, the compulsory arbitration will be triggered under 164.
Mr. Gama, since they are essential service, why hasn't the Labour Commission just stepped in? Even though you haven't invited me, look, this is essential service. These are all the doctors we have in the world. There are 27 million lives at stake. Come and let's talk about it.
The Labour Commission can do that. But I've told you already that because we lack the necessary knowledge, certain things have been said, whether through the judicial system and so on, that sometimes seems to constrain the Labour Commission, that they mellow a little bit. But let me say without any hesitation that they have the power to invite both sides under a compulsory arbitration. First of all, attempt to help them to understand the processes. If they will mellow and understand it, fine. But Nana, nobody has the right to go and organize a press conference, be it government as employer, be it workers and unions, to announce that we are going on strike tomorrow. Nobody has right under the least law in this country. Nobody. When you give the necessary notice and the time is due, the Labour Commission can summon both sides. That's why we created room for 7 days notification.
I thought the Constitution gave provisions for people to demonstrate and strike.
You can demonstrate, but before you demonstrate, you even go and seek permission. But when it comes to industrial relations, it's a different ball game altogether. You cannot just write letter to police that you want to go and demonstrate because of
in any case,
relations.
maybe they're not going to obstruct them. We're just going to sit at home. We won't turn up at work.
They shouldn't even do that. But let me not run away from this. Look, if I were to be the doctors, and you think that this is the way forward for you, they don't need to wait for 3 weeks. Why don't they resign today? Because that is an individual matter. It's an individual matter. You, Nana, must decide today that you won't work with Joy TV again. So you write your resignation letter to your employer that, sorry, the way you are paying me, I don't like it. I want you to negotiate with me. You are not giving me time to negotiate with you. So I'm resigning. Let's say even en masse, 3,000 people have resigned today. Let it happen.
They wouldn't do that because one doctor wouldn't have as much weight as all of them put together. I mean, that's what holds the state to ransom. So they will come together.
But it's wrong. You cannot do that. Under this law, they can't do that.
They're also saying they are being treated wrongly.
Go to Labour Commission. They have the right. Go to the National Labour Commission. The Labour Commission, I went there with my clients yesterday. And we were put to grilling. At the end of the day, they determine the outcome of the case. There are lawyers and other consultants and people. I have a number of clients that when we are negotiating and we don't reach agreement, because of the rules of the negotiation, we go to the Labour Commission. We may lose, we may win, we may have some understanding there. When it is done, it's done. But if you say that this is an adversarial approach, it's a wrong approach. It's marks of we have been led to slaughterhouse. This is it. And it's wrong. We shouldn't do that. And Ghana must refrain from these things. You will not get investors in your country if you continue to do that.
Well, see, it's tough because the GMA feels it's really been taken for granted.
I applaud them for initiating the move to have a condition of service. They are my friends. They know me. And I want to tell them that they should go ahead and negotiate as strong as they can. But they don't have the power to say that they are holding the country to ransom. They don't have the right to do that.
Mr. Gama, I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, Stan Dogbe, who's very close to presidential quarters, posted on his Facebook what is supposedly what was being negotiated behind closed doors. And all throughout the negotiations, they've kept a tight lip. I mean, will this muddy the waters going forward, or can it be repaired? Stay tuned, we're coming straight back. Thank you very much for staying tuned, negotiating on life support. Wow, where do we go from here? But just before the break, I was talking to Mr. Austin Game, who's a labor expert, who clearly is not happy with both sides. You're all wrong. You need to come back, drop your egos, and let's start talking. But Stan Dogbe on his Facebook sort of put out what is we all presume is what was being said behind doors and what the doctors were demanding. Now, it doesn't state what the doctor's basic salary are, but it just gives a percentage of what they want more. And we are all like, oh, they're asking for too much, they're asking for too much. I mean, can this muddy the negotiations going forward? Is this indeed, what are their basic pay and what are the percentages that they want?
They should ignore him because he's not a member of the negotiation team. Mm-hmm. There is a standing, they are sitting there now as a standing negotiating committee, negotiating behind closed doors. Negotiation is not supposed to be a public thing. Mm-hmm. So whatever Sandogbe put there, everybody should ignore it. They should continue negotiating based on the proposals they have submitted. Even if what he said is right or wrong, everybody should ignore it. They should concentrate on the negotiation they are negotiating there. That's all. Because Sandogbe is not a party to the negotiation. So if they want to waste their energy and time on what he put on his Facebook, I don't even have Facebook.
But it becomes difficult to ignore because automatically public sentiment now go against them when they were saying that, call on duty, facilitation, 20% of basic salary, accommodation 40, and saying some doctors want 90 gallons per month of fuel, specialists 100 gallons per month. I mean, that's running King of Kings transport. I mean, so then public is thinking, hey, then, who are these people and why are they demanding so much even though you are essential? I mean, in the same Facebook banter, a doctor comes in and, laments how he's not getting any allowances. He finished his house on his own. So it becomes difficult to ignore.
They should ignore it. The point is that there must be an end to anything in this life. Sandogbe is not a member of the standing negotiating committee representing the employer. He is also as a citizen expressing his decision. Rightly or wrongly, even if these things were true, he has no business putting it on his Facebook. So that's why I said, ignore it. Everybody, starting from me, let's ignore it. It's not the business that we should worry ourselves about. We want the doctors and the employers to sit and negotiate. If you watch, I am carefully saying consistently, the employers, let's just stop muddying the water with this business about government. Government does politics. When it comes to employer-employee relations, it's a different ball game. So they are there with the same power, both sides, to negotiate. So they should ignore Sandogbe, they should ignore any other person that is shining out any information and concentrate on the negotiation. I respect my friends, the doctors. They should be able to, and I blame both sides anyway for starting the negotiating on the premises of threat and intimidation. I don't like it, and I don't need to mince words about that. I wish if the Labour Commission, if they are going overboard, have they started a strike? I refuse to know about it. If they have started, then the Labour Commission have the right to summon them, both sides. If they haven't started, they shouldn't start it, because it's wrong for them to take it up that way.
I mean, Dr. Yankson is also a lawyer. Surely he knows the law. So he must know what he's doing. I'm sure all doors must have been closed, and this is the only option left to him. I doubt this would have been his first option.
I meet 1,001 lawyers all the time. Some are in my class now. So what I want to draw attention to is that it does not make it right that because somebody is the chiefest of a lawyer in this country, he has knowledge about this. No, it's not true. But I respect them. I know him. He's a very nice person. He can come to my house today. I can go to him today. He's a very, very nice person. But that does not make what they are doing right.
Let's listen to Dr. Yankson and then we take it from here.
Try to do what he's doing. Some of us feel very, very sad for him as a person. We all know him. We wouldn't want to say much. See, when we talk about consultants, let me just give you an example. Maybe that will paint a better picture. We are talking about people the stature of, say, Professor Frimpong watching. These are people who are very renowned persons whose expertise are well sought after all over the world. They have sacrificed for Mother Ghana. They have worked very hard and have obtained their positions as we speak based on hard work and excellence, not political patronage like Sandogbe is enjoying now. And he wants to tell us that he has probably contributed more because of political patronage and deserves better than people like Professor Frimpong. How many gallons of fuel does he use from the castle or from the Flagstaff House for his social activities alone? And you think that somebody, the stature of Frimpong, Professor, should use 20 gallons a week, a month for his activities when it comes to work, not even for social events. He thinks that what he has put on his Facebook page or whatever is what should be.
This is some of the things that makes it difficult once you spew out things like this on the market. So obviously, Doctor, reacting to this post, it will be very difficult not to react to, because then the public will literally, consume you. So sometimes you need to come and explain from what position you were arguing, and that's what he was trying to say. Look, somebody like Professor Frimpong Boateng, if he's demanding this, he deserves it because of what he's contributed.
It's not about, I have said it already, and I want to maintain, I urge them to ignore what have been spewed out into the public. It's not necessary. It will not help anything. They are fortunately behind closed doors negotiating. They should concentrate and negotiate. Now, when you submit a proposal, it does not mean you will have it. Your counter proposal does not mean you will have it. That is why we have an institution. If they have a problem, they should go there and let the National Labour Commission assist them to resolve the matter. It's not about going on strike. If they want to resign, that one, suffering is an option. You want to suffer for your nation, it's an option. You want to resign, it's an option. Anything you want to do, it's an option. It's up to you to do that. If they want to resign, nobody would stop them from resigning.
Should we pamper them a bit because they are essential service?
No. They don't like that word themselves.
Because they are in short supply?
No. They don't like that word themselves, and I urge them not to accept pampering. Whatever they are doing, they should do it right. Look, this country can suffer earthquake today. 1,000 doctors will die. We will still survive as a people. But I insist, the doctors should be given opportunity to sit around a table like this, let them negotiate their condition of service. When they are negotiating and they have a problem, they know where to go. The National Labour Commission have been set by law of this nation. They should go there, they will have a resolution to their problem. But to say that because we have the life, Professor Frimpong Boateng has given me a contract and I've worked for him when he was Chief Executive of Kolebu. So I respect him 1,010. He's a nice man. They should be given the best of everything, but it must be done in a civilized way. We should not hold ourselves and plunge ourselves with our neck deep, eyes open into a slaughterhouse. How many poor people, as he is worried about, will die? And can they resurrect them? As a result of that, Standogbe should not be a hindrance to anybody. Negotiation should not be a hindrance to anybody. That is why we have a law. If they have a problem, go. There is a very solid position that has been planted in the law. You're negotiating, you have a problem, you are either going for mediation, you are going for arbitration, and that will end the matter.
Have you been approached by either party?
They both used to talk to me. I have talked to them. They attended my alumni program. I respect them a lot. The president of the association lives just behind from my house to their workplace is not far. I respect them a lot. But I don't support people in error. I don't support the employer in their error. I don't support Ghana Medical Association in their error. For that matter, anybody, including myself, who is attempting to do anything wrong, stop it and go by the right procedure.
I was asking if they have approached you because you have the expertise in leading the negotiation or bringing the parties together. Even if they don't want to go to Labour Commission, have they come to you?
Well, not as on this subject matter. They have not come to me yet, as at yet. My friends from outside keep on asking me, are you in the country? Are they aware that you are in the country? Has somebody talked to you? I said, I have not been talked to. They say, oh, and they are in this situation. They interview me from London on radio stations and asking me about it. I'm trying to say that I wish I don't even say what I'm saying. But I'm trying to say that it is most unfair for us to deliberately do what we are doing to ourselves. We have a law that took us 4 years to write. And the law is very clear. There is no question they are asking that is not in this law. There is no answer that is not in this law. They should go to the National Labour Commission. And the National Labour Commission, fortunately, is an unbiased group.
I was going to go, can they trust it? Aren't they going to say, well, they will lean to this party or they will lean to that party? Or
very notable men and women are on that commission. Human resource management practitioners, lawyers, not less than 3-4 lawyers are on that commission. And they are not just lawyers, they are seasoned people. I took my clients there yesterday. I have notable clients. I took them there yesterday because there was a problem. And we could not agree to the negotiation at the negotiation table. So both sides, that union, civilized union also, we all agreed and marched there. And they gave us opportunity. We state our case. They stated their case. The commissioner, having heard us, they said, bring your closing submission. We are submitting it tomorrow. By next week, Wednesday, they will come out with a ruling. And both sides will accept it because we have been talking about the national arbitration. In arbitration, the ruling is final and binding on everybody. Therefore, there is finality under this law. Why are they going on strike? Why strike? Anybody who wants to go on strike, then the person has a problem. The person has a problem. I don't care who the person is. Whoever is going on strike have a serious problem.
There's a limit.
There's a way out. Where solve your problem?
But there's a limit to every endurance.
The limit is deposited in the National Labour Commission. Your endurance that you can no longer bear. And let me mention that the chairman of the commission this time round was appointed by the unions. By the unions. Other members of the government has only 2 representatives on that commission. And by the law and by practice, as soon as the commission members are assembled, they are completely washed out by the team that sent them there. They are reasonably independent. They are very thorough. They have a strong executive body there, and they are doing their work well. I have lost cases there. I have won cases there. We go there and they advise and we all go back. Even me. So I'm saying even me because everybody knows my stand in this law. Not for any other reason. So I think that the doctors have a good case. They have the right to have their negotiation done. The employers have a good case. They have the right to come to the table to negotiate. But where is the rule that is governing the negotiation? I said they shouldn't even have started because there was a gun being pointed at their head. That come 29 July, if you don't complete the negotiation, we will kill you. Strike means kill. That is the meaning. Yeah. They shouldn't have done that. 1, 2, 7, 3, and 4 do not give room for such a thing in Ghana. I don't know why we are doing what we are doing to ourselves. I am so sad that I am also in this country and this thing is happening. I am sad. It shouldn't have happened.
These things feed off from one party. So teachers will go to strike. And as soon as they strike, 2-3 days later, they get paid. And then you're there, and then nurses will strike, and then they'll come back and sit in Parliament Square, and then 2 hours later, they get their money. The junior doctors complained and complained and complained. They went on strike, and within 24 hours, they got their money. So it's become sort of, well, I think this is the point we need to get to get our money. The pattern is there.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong on the part of the employers to be doing that. It's wrong on the part of the workers to be doing that. The nurses, if you take the nurses, throughout 2014, 2015, the nurses have not gone on strike. First of all, the nurses, they consult me. Okay. And I will not advise them to take that route. And they have a very reasonable president who I know his leanings. He's very, very reasonable person. And leaders are supposed to be reasonable. This law enjoins us to be reasonable. Let me read something to you in the law. The law says in section 97, this is what the law says. Section 97 of the law says that all parties to the negotiation of a collective agreement shall negotiate in good faith and make every reasonable effort to reach an agreement. What they have done, where have they reached? Is that a reasonable effort? They've done nothing. Both sides, they've done nothing. I blame the employers, I blame the unions. Nana, with all due respect, where is the rule that is governing the negotiation? Where have they got into? They have a stalemate? Where should they go to? The law in section 108. Nana, I'll read this to you.
Of course.
Section 108 of the Labour Act says this. Provision for dispute settlement. Every collective agreement shall contain a provision for final and conclusive settlement under Part 18 of this Act of all, not some, differences between the persons to whom the agreement applies. So, what it is that, and the law says in section 1012, that the parties who are coming to negotiate write your own rules that will govern the negotiation. And in 1273 and 4, it says that when you are negotiating, don't threaten anybody. You can't even put on red band. That's the law. You can't even put on red band, a shred of it. You can't do it. Don't intimidate anybody. Why are they intimidating themselves? Why are they doing what they are doing to themselves? I am amazed. That's why I said you must have the necessary knowledge. It's not about being a doctor or being a lawyer or being somebody. That is not the case. We are talking about necessary knowledge. And you must have the understanding of that knowledge you claim you have. And you must have the skill, nyansa, to understand that these are processes. You have your contents that you have brought together to negotiate around. You have your processes and the responses that come to both of you. So use language in a gentle, honest manner. The way they are doing it is completely devoid of what the law prescribes. So they should go to the National Labour Commission.
I'll take a break here and come back and find out. So what's the way forward now? Because now it looks like everything is now, well, pretty much broken. Relationship broken. There's no trust here. How do we go forward in such a manner? Stay tuned, we're coming back. Well, thank you very much for staying. I'm sure you're being educated just like I am. I'm going to divert a bit and then come back in. And my diversion, it's just to find out that, is it about time we serialize this law on TV and radio? Because it's such a tight law, but it's shrouded in secrecy. Because nobody seems to be working with it, even though we all need it. I mean, should we, I don't know, serialize it? Or so how do we get people to know about it?
Indeed, it's one of the most bought law. It's the law that the printers have made huge fortunes out of it because the people buy it left, right, center. And but they lack the knowledge about understanding it. I'm sure people who are listening to you and I should appreciate this point. Reading it is another thing. Understanding is another thing. And having the nyansa, the wisdom to apply it is another thing. Let's not pretend that it is what I'm saying is not true. It is true. And by God's grace, I happen to be the chairman of the committee that wrote this law. So, I went in with 11 other great people. So we learned a lot. It took us 4 years. So nobody should pretend that he has some magic wand to wave and that is it. You just have to go by the law. And you have to go with the understanding, the spirit behind the law and the applicability of it. You can't just woke up and just clothe yourself and say you are a consultant, an industrial relations practitioner. You can talk about it, but it is not true because the evidence will be there for everybody to see. Look, I'm sure on the government side, I don't know who is negotiating, but I'm pretty sure that at least my friend Haruna Idrusu will be there, the Honorable Minister. He's a lawyer. He knows what to do. But I'm trying to say that it is not too late for both sides.
Yeah. That's my worry.
Yes, it's not too late. They should stop threatening all of us. Because the inaction is also a threat. The action is also a threat. So whichever way it is, it's not good for all of us. I suggest to them that they should agree that they are unable to continue the negotiation by themselves. And now write a joint letter or separate letters and submit themselves to the National Labour Commission. Fortunately, we all know the people who are on the commission, they are very well seasoned people. They may not know everything, they may not have everything, but they are better than having nothing, to be honest. They should go to the Labour Commission. The Labour Commission will assist them to go through the process. If they are unable to reach agreement, they will conduct for them a compulsory arbitration. And within 3 days, they would have finished with them. And they will give them the award. This is not judgment. They will give them an award, because in arbitration is an award. And that award is final and binding. No Supreme Court, no Hague can change it.
Wow.
You can go and ask for something, but it will be on point of law. And if you don't have the law to match it, forget it. There's nothing you can do about it. So people must learn, every employer
so
must
all is
learn
not lost.
Yes, oh, it's not lost. That is why they should not threaten anybody. They should not say they are going on strike. They should not say they are not attending to our aunties in the OPD. They shouldn't say so. When they say so, it makes me nervous. It makes me feel that we are not wanted. You know, that is why they shouldn't go. They should go and negotiate. If they cannot reach agreement, go to Labour Commission. If they cannot look for a private person to sit between them and facilitate under Section 153 to enable them to resolve their thing, then they should go to Labour Commission. For the Labour Commission to give them an award, and it will be final and binding on both sides. Period.
I know I know you're not happy with both sides, but I feel your frustration more on the doctors going on strike more than the employer who's refusing to give them this rules by which they have to work by, or their condition of service.
Yes, incidentally, the rules cannot even be given by the employer alone. Both sides will have to design the rules. And even if they are designing the rules and they don't reach agreement, they should have gone to Labour Commission. For Labour Commission to assist them to complete the rules. But let me even imagine that they have done it. They've done the rules. If you have the rules, then apply the rules. They are not applying the rules, because the rules will not allow you to go on strike in the first instance. You should have gone to Labour Commission. I'm saying this because that is the only way they should go. There is no other way. If anybody will come from heaven and come and tell them what I'm telling them is not true, then the person was not yet born.
No, I still want to go to the employer. I mean, it's it's like they've really taken the GMA for granted or for a ride, and they are going scot-free.
No, I don't think so. The employers also have a right. The workers and leaders have a right. Both sides have a right. I am saying that the employer even should not have started the negotiation in the first place. So it's not about, they have even bent backwards to agree to negotiate. Representing the whole state, they have abused this law by allowing people to hold gun on them.
So which law did the employer abuse by not giving them that condition of service? There must be a law in there which they have abused. And they've abused it way too long. Since independence,
the employer has always, from before independence and after independence, doctors, I started negotiating with Adokufo them, Dr. Adokufo,
yes,
and the rest. When I was in the ministry, we were negotiating. I negotiated with Professor, what's the name? The one who used to be the CPP gentleman.
Oh, my friend.
Yes.
Akosa.
Professor Akosa. I used to negotiate with them on behalf of the state. When they started the thing and I was there, we negotiate. And we don't go this way. At the end of the day, we find solution. We don't go this way. What is wrong? What is wrong is that they have gone on the head of the people. Let me tell you a story. There was a time when I was a member of parliament. I was not in the ministry. Then the GMA announced, under the leadership of Dr. Adokufo, they were going on strike because of condition of service of a kind. So I booked an appointment with them. I met them at the GMA secretariat. They asked me to accompany them to Kumasi, where they were going to meet with all the doctors to agree to go on strike. Then I went and met them. Dr. Kwesi was the minister for finance. I went to Kumasi with them. They insulted me on the way. They didn't know I was the one in the car, but I didn't mind them. When we got to Kumasi, after they've taken the decision, they still gave me opportunity. And I spoke. When I finished, they agreed that they will stand down the strike action. Let Mr. Game go and make the effort. I came with them, Dr. Adukufo and a host of them. We met Justice Annan and met, he was then the Speaker of Parliament, and met Usa Champong, and met Kwesi Boche, and met J.S. Boateng. Within 1.5 hours, a matter that the whole country was going to visit strike on us came to an end. So what is the problem? This small matter, this is a small matter. This is too small a matter, it's just a fraction. What is the problem? I don't see it.
All too soon, our time is up, but I bet we have been educated, and I hope both parties will just let egos fall, forget about what Standobe said, get to the table and negotiate, because you will, by all means, get to the end of it, but don't hold the whole nation to ransom. Indeed, it's the poor ones who will really, really suffer. I want to say thank you to Tantees Fashion for sewing my shirts, and they are on 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001, and that's Tantees Fashion. Give them a call and get one for yourself. Thank you very much to Jennifer and Nee, producers behind the scene, Zalu and McBride directing, and my very good friend and senior Mr. Ostingame. Thank you very much. It's been educated. Folks, tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you very much for watching.